Ladies and gentlemen, it is Napalm Dawn here on G4G with some interesting news for you guys. Incredibly unexpected. The fans of this game have been waiting with bated breath since the short-lived beta test weekend many months ago that I did happen to cover on this channel. Over on Reddit earlier today in the late 9s, early 10s Eastern time, this Redditor happened to post on the Gigantic Reddit that there was a Twitter account that was new called Gigantic Temp with the tag of @GoGigantic, which is how they have often referenced themselves, saying the ultimate MOBA hero shooter experience. Join the action-packed multiplayer adventure on April 9th, 2024 across PCs, PlayStation, and Xbox. No mention of Switch. Now, people wondered in the thread, is it a troll? Is it a work? Is it a job? Could it be fake? And I posted it to my friend Mojo. And Wolfburns and I share a little channel on Discord. Mojo is a fan of Gigantic, much like myself, so I shared that with him. And about 2 hours later, he linked me to something on Steam. And here it is, folks. Gigantic, the Rampage Edition, is now on the Steam store. If you look at the video here, you will notice you're seeing some architecture, flora and fauna, some scenes from maps that we have never seen before. Hold on to your lug nuts. This is, in fact, real. We do actually have confirmed news that Gigantic is coming back on April 9th to PC, on Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox. On Steam, there is a button down here called the Mission 202 Playtest that says you can request access to the beta. The beta will be starting February 22nd, so 2 days from now. Unfortunately, 1 day after Last Epoch goes live on Steam, and a lot of people are going to be going crazy for that one, I know, especially Diablo fans who are looking for something else. It is confirmed to be in English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish, with Italian and Spanish audio missing. But the Gigantic Rampage Edition is the premium and definitive release of the original 5v5 MOBA hero shooter, Gigantic. We are seeing news that there is going to be 2 new heroes on release. Roland, a well-hardened man who lost his arm but gained unparalleled reach. That sounds very, very close to Roland Deschain from the Gunslinger series, or the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, one of my favorite series of books of all time. I actually even own the Gunslinger comics for that. Kajir, a fast reflex feline who has a taste for fighting in the alien streets. New maps, Picaro Bay, and Heavensward. New modes of Rush, Clash, and Custom. Cross-platform play between consoles and PC, and free post-launch content, including a ranked mode and new hero skins. Holy shit, people. Dreams come true. This is crazy. How much some of the games from the middle 2010s that disappeared for a while are coming back. You have people trying to work on rebirthing Marvel Heroes. Marvel Avengers Alliance is coming back with a dedicated team there. You have some more official ones, like when Evolve came back, and Nosgoth. You can play Nosgoth still, the one that Sony was doing in the Legacy of Kain universe. Rusty Hearts is available to play again. Gigantic was trying to come back through a project called Project Stamina. There was some internal strife over there and it blew up. Paragon, which was on the PlayStation, that has come back by two different groups, brought Paragon back in some way, shape, or form. Myself, I am interested in Gigantic, Rusty Hearts. There's the Nosgoth one. There's Battleborn. There's the Marvel Heroes server emulation. Here you can see there are two Gigantic Discords. Go Gigantic, Gigantic Heaven. They have the announcements up over there. Right now we are in Gigantic Heaven, and you can see the announcements are there. News on the closed beta testing. This link did not work for me originally. I'll give it a try, see if maybe it lands properly now. No, still not landing properly. You can go into the beta test on Steam starting February 22nd at noon Pacific time or 3 o'clock Eastern time. And over on the Go Gigantic Discord, here is what the screenshot looks like for you to wishlist it and request access to the beta on Steam. There is their announcement over here. This is absolutely not a joke. This is all hands on deck now at this point. Windows Central has run an article on it because if you don't know the history of Gigantic, it came out at a time in which a lot of other hero shooters were really starting to become big. You had games like Lawbreakers from Radical Heights, which is Cliffy B's studio when he left Epic. You had like Dirty Bomb. You had Paladins, Battleborn, Gigantic, and Overwatch. Now, Battleborn and Gigantic had some MOBA-ish elements in it. Battleborn was basically a first-person MOBA. In reality, let's call it that. It really was. Gigantic was a MOBA light, a MOBA-esque to certain degrees. Paladins really didn't have MOBA elements, and Overwatch definitely did not either. Battleborn would go to be shut down. Their Gearbox, also the Borderlands people, had a lot of Borderlands humor in it. Gigantic got shut down. Paladin still exists today as a free-to-play game, and Overwatch moved into Overwatch 2. Overwatch, unfortunately, was a juggernaut that smashed everything in its path. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I literally play it just about daily, including Overwatch 2. And I feel bad for the companies that unfortunately got crapped on by Overwatch. Gigantic was definitely one of the ones that got hurt. Battleborn definitely got hurt by that. Lawbreakers, Cliffy just made some mistakes in his PR. It got hurt too. It had some bad character designs. Paladins has managed to survive. It's over on Steam. I haven't played Paladins in several years, but Gigantic was originally through Motiga, and Microsoft picked them up and said, okay, we'll put it on the Xbox, and we will get it on Windows 8 through Gaming Hub. Now, unfortunately, Microsoft backed out. The beta was still happening on the Xbox. I was part of that. I've done Gigantic from almost literally day one. And when Microsoft left, Perfect World swooped in and said, okay, we'll take care of it from here. If you know anything about Perfect World, their own stuff is generally good, but when they pick something up, it is a kiss of death. It is likely going to die and not get supported properly, and unfortunately, that's kind of what happened. They put it on the Arc launcher. You could transfer your account to Arc if you wanted to. That began to split the community because you had the Xbox people playing with the Windows 8 Xbox app people and the Gaming Hub people, and then there were the Arc people, and there were invisible walls between the two, so crossplay was kind of an issue. It was great. I had a lot of fun with it. The characters were great. The art style was great. The music is very unique and great. but it would eventually go on to die. People tried to bring it back as Project Stamina. There was some internal strife where somebody got mad, took their ball, and went home, wrecking the project. And then a few months ago, we had a beta weekend that if you happen to have a ARC account, you could sign up to be part of the beta, but you would have had to have played Gigantic in the past and have established ARC account. I was able to get in. I covered it for the channel. It was exciting, and then there's been little drips, dibs, dabs the whole way through that it may be coming back. And today it definitely is confirmed to be back, and it will be in April of this year. It is. I'm beside myself with happiness. I hope the game survives this second time around. Here is the Gigantic Rampage Edition. Will launch on the 9th for about $20. I would definitely pay that. Overwatch is now in a place where it's still really big, but Blizzard and Overwatch have been picked apart. There are condors and buzzards eating a liver and a little bit of a thigh and a little bit of an eye here. Overwatch isn't quite the invincible juggernaut that it was. Again, I love it, clearly, but it is nice to see that Gigantic can probably get a foothold in here. It is a very unique art style. The music is something else. There's a little bit of music in WoW's Dragonflight that actually kind of reminds me of Motiga's music for Gigantic. Here, why revive Gigantic now? Short while ago, Gearbox and Abstraction ran a limited throwback event, and the team says they were galvanized by the positive reception of the test. It seems Gigantic did enjoy a really dedicated following. The main subreddit is relatively active, so is the Discord. Despite it being offline for a few years, fans basically flocked back to it when it was announced that there was a Discord for it and everything. Microtransaction-free format. I mentioned Overwatch 2 going free to play a couple of years back, and reactions to that venture have been mixed. That's generous to say it's like that. So Blizzard's shield has been riddled with holes. Like, you can see through the shield now. They are not invincible at all. So this could be big. Now, some things kind of came back and died, like Evolve. It was back for a little bit and it went out, but it's interesting to think of the early and middle 2010s as now being like sort of retro gaming, but in a large way it is, like Rusty Hearts, Nosgoth, Gigantic, Battleborn, which was like 2016 or so. You have to remember that's now 8 years ago. That's almost 10 years ago that a lot of these started. That's a decade. So to put that into perspective, yeah, it is actually becoming nostalgia and kind of retro in a lot of ways. So yeah, absolutely looking forward to this. If I get into the playtest, I'll cover it on the channel. Whenever the game goes live, I'm definitely going to be covering it. Gigantic is a phenomenal game, and I encourage people who like first-person shooters, or even third-person shooters, to go ahead and give this a try. Honestly, fun game, great art style, very pleasant music for it, like soul-affirming music and everything. Yeah, hope to see you guys out there on the Gigantic battlefield, and stick with this channel for more updates on it as I get it. See you, everybody.